Here we are, lads, at the Mexican Grand Prix where the stakes are so goddamn high. The roaring engines, the electrifying crowd, the thin air of Mexico City. This race it's like no other, lads. But for one driver, the entire championship could be over within seconds at the first corner on the first goddamn lap. Let's get into it.
Walsh running the Irish green, and look at the move he's making down to the inside.
Moves to the front from fifth all the way to the lead in lap one.
Walsh takes win number two.
Peter Walsh. Okay, lads, this is exciting. I mean, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. So cool. Right, let's have a look at this. This is all about two drivers now at this stage. We all know this. Yes, Ferrari had a dominant win there at the USA Grand Prix last weekend. But this is all about Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. Now, Verstappen, if I'm looking at the table here again, he's sitting very pretty at the top of the standings. He's been untouchable all season. Now, when I say untouchable, obviously he was really quick at the start of the year. Then Norris took over and obviously Piastri had some pace. But when you look at the championship table, lads, he's been untouchable. Okay, he's had his ups and downs, but again, you build up a lead so early in the goddamn year that you can afford to have these bad, ugly, horrific races. Now, all he's got to do, finish second in the rest of the sprint races and finish second in every Grand Prix from now on. Hey, sounds easy, right? Yeah, okay, but don't be fooled. Motorsport has a way of throwing surprises when you least expect it, lads. It's still looking pretty good for him. Okay, on the other hand, we've got Mr. Norris. Now this poor, I won't even say it, this poor guy, I'm feeling for him. People are saying, oh, Norris, he just doesn't have it, man. He doesn't have the aggression. He doesn't have that fighter champion spirit. Well, this is why I've been saying for a long, long time, lads, this year, that this is high stakes for Lando Norris, because this guy is up against it. Max Verstappen has nothing to prove anymore. He's going for his fourth championship, which is unbelievable. Lando Norris, he's got everything to prove, that he's a man, he's a fighter. And I'm not agreeing with everybody in the public, but it's quite hard to disagree. You don't know. You don't know yet. Now, let's get into it. This is where it gets very, very interesting, lads, because Mexico Grand Prix is a challenge. Yes, Sergio Perez is going to be the hometown hero. And I do think, actually, Sergio Perez is going to get some attention because Verstappen isn't up against it. He just needs to keep finishing. Now, if I were Red Bull, I'd be putting all my attention into Verstappen anyway. Let's just make no assumptions here, lads. Let's just close this off as fast as we can and move on. So even for Perez, I wouldn't be giving him all the equipment, but we'll see. Now, the track itself, lads, here's where this gets very interesting. Now, normally, if you've seen some of my previews for a Grand Prix at a weekend, I do go through the track and I discuss the most important corner always, because that a lot of the times is where it can make or break. It can get you pole, or it can set you up for the overtake of your life if you get that most important corner right. But today we're doing it a little differently. Today is all about turn one on the first bloody lap. The stakes are so goddamn high for Lando Norris at this race, lads, because every driver is vulnerable going down into that turn one. When the red lights go to green on Sunday for the Grand Prix, from that starting line, when they start taking off all the way down to turn one, that is the longest run in the whole calendar. In other words, it's the longest distance between the starting line to the first corner. Now, why is that important? Because they're gathering up all their speed, and of course the bigger the length before the first corner, the bigger the distance, therefore they pick up speed, and the more they can pick up speed, the faster they go down into turn one. So what's going to happen? You're going to have two things. They're going to get up a lot of speed. And then number two, there's going to be a lot of slipstreaming. So when you tuck in behind the car in front of you, and what are they going to do? They're going to gather such speed, and they are going at such a good speed into turn one that they will have the wind affect them and slow them down if they're in the front. But the guy behind is going to get a nice advantage, and boop, and in he goes. Now the problem too, lads, is that turn one is extremely tight. Now, in general, like I was saying, that normally we go through the track, right? This isn't the most important corner on the track. Out the back would be the most important part. But anyway, we're going to ignore that today. But this is so vulnerable for Lando Norris today. Because if he gets into a scenario here where he has a crash, it's over. It's all over. 25 points down the toilet. Down the sinker, lads. Pack your bags. The war is over, fellas. And he's going to be in a very, very vulnerable position because the other drivers like Leclerc, Sainz, now even Ferrari have come on and they've said that they do want to win the constructors, finish second at the worst, right? The drivers themselves, yeah, sure, of course, they're going to try and help out the team as much as they can. But the drivers, they don't give a damn about the constructors. Okay? They don't. They'll like to help the team out, but I'll put it this way to you. If they were going to bed on a Saturday night on the eve of the championship showdown, drivers will lose sleep. And I've had this. Every driver has been through this. You'll lose sleep the night before the Grand Prix because you either going to be crowned champion or you're not. But for the constructors, you ain't losing any sleep. I can tell you that. Not 1 ounce of sleep. So if that gives you an idea of how important it is to you, well, now, but like I said, lads, they're still going to want to help out the team, all right? Of course they are. They'd love for the team to walk away from at the end of the year with being incredibly happy and they're happy with their drivers but anyway, we know the story. Now, we know Verstappen is on the outside, lads. He looks a very calm, cool, collected dude, all right? He's won 3 championships. He's going for the 4th. He's been there 3 times already. He knows the deal. He's experienced with this type of thing. Still doesn't guarantee he ain't going to lose sleep. And I'm telling you this, if this does come down to a showdown in Abu Dhabi, where whoever wins is champion, like the Hamilton and Verstappen in 2021, if it's anything like this at Abu Dhabi for the last round of the season, Verstappen will be losing some sleep. He won't lose as much sleep as you'd think, but he'll be losing some sleep, believe you me, because this is his last chance to win a 4th World Championship. Norris, this is all about a fight for redemption, lads. A fight for goddamn redemption. Okay, guys, we're going to leave it here today. Nice, short and sweet, but I tell you this. Nothing is guaranteed until that checkered flag. Now, 5 races to go, 2 sprints. But for Norris, this isn't just about being the fastest guy on the track. This is about being smart. Very smart. Because even if Norris is struggling at that turn 1 on the first lap, even if he's in 4th, guys, and in fact, I'll tell you this is like Spain and 1 or 2 other tracks. If I'm Norris, I want to be starting on the 2nd row of the grid because I'll be able to pick up a slipstream from the guy in front, get a nice little slipstream, gain some miles an hour, and then boop, pop out right at the last second, and then boom, I'm into turn 1. That is what I would be doing this weekend. I wouldn't even try and get it on pole. I'm being dead serious because you have to think now incredibly smart for this Grand Prix. And the thin air, it's going to be humid, hot. It's going to be, the thin air is going to, less oxygen, so the drivers are going to struggle more. It's a challenge. It is a challenge. I think we're going to leave it there, lads. But who's your money on?
Walsh running the Irish green, and look at the move he's making down to the inside.
Moves to the front with 5th all the way to the lead in lap 1.
Walsh takes win number 2.
Peter Walsh.